Good morning, friends. I'm Jen. Welcome to Be Set Free, or welcome back. I wanted to talk to you today about wolves in sheep's clothing. This is something that God has been talking to me about for a while now, and then really strong the past 24 hours, and then has given me so many confirmations. It's just time to make a video about it. So, wolves in sheep's clothing. I've been a Christian for almost 20 years, and I've heard a lot, be aware of wolves in sheep's clothing. Ever since I got married, right before I got married, my last marriage, I became a Christian right before, because he actually introduced me to the Lord and to church. We got baptized and then we got married. And so my only experience with Christianity was with a narcissist, right? And I always heard my whole Christian walk, especially the first 12 years I got saved, beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. And I was like, ooh, I have to be aware of these people who are out to get me, who seem nice but really aren't. Okay. And so I would always be telling myself, okay, be aware of wolves in sheep's clothing. Like, I wouldn't think of it always, all the time, like I just said, but it was in my mind that this is an important thing I need to be aware of. Little did I know, God was trying to show me, you are with a wolf in sheep's clothing. You need to be aware. Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't understand. And what I've come to learn is that these wolves in sheep's clothing, these are the cluster B personality disordered people. These truly are the wolves in sheep's clothing. These are people who act like somebody on the outside, who are really somebody completely different on the inside, right? These are really the people who are sent into our lives to cause destruction. These are the people who present themselves as an angel of light when they are actually the angel of darkness. These are the people who want to come in and distract you away from anything good, that want to separate you from everybody who loves you, that want to just demolish your self-esteem, right? Who want you crushed, who want you dead, who want you committing suicide. These are the wolves in sheep's clothing. These are the people who are governed by Satan. They have not given up their souls, their lives, their spirit, who they are, to Jesus Christ. They will say they did because they're acting like a sheep, but inside they're a wolf. They have not submitted to the Lord. The devil can quote, he knows the Bible, every single word of the Bible inside and out, and he takes the word and he skews it to make the person he's targeting doubt God, doubt themselves. So they are weak. So they are led astray by various lusts, right? This is who they are. And if you are a follower of Jesus, you are going to have wolves in sheep's clothing around you, because you have Jesus. You have the Holy Spirit inside of you. And the devil wants to take Jesus, the Holy Spirit, God, out. He wants as many people as possible to not worship the Lord, to not know the truth, to turn away from God. The devil hates God, and he has since the very beginning, okay? And that's spiritual warfare. So logically, if you're a follower of Jesus, you are going to have wolves in sheep's clothing around you. I used to say that as if we're codependent or we're empaths, don't feel like you're targeted, because you can heal and you can repel these people. Like, these people are just everywhere, and they're trying everyone. And that is true, but they especially want, and they don't know they're doing this. This is subconscious. This is spiritual. This is deeper. This is a spiritual scene. This is what's happening spiritually in the invisible world that we can see visibly. They want believers done. They want believers. These wolves in sheep's clothing are ruled by Satan because they've chosen to be, and they want believers taken out because Satan wants God gone. Does that make sense? So I kind of take it back. We are targeted, but not because we're good people. It's because we have the Holy Spirit inside of us. We have the light. We have the way to eternal salvation. We have the relationship. We are the bridge for people, right? Because we have Jesus inside of us. We have the Holy Spirit in us, and we can link other people to God, and they can have the Holy Spirit in them too. And the devil doesn't want that. So it is safe to assume that there are wolves in sheep's clothing in your church. And it's extremely important to be able to start to discern these people. We go to church and we think it's a safe place because we're there with other believers. And that is amazing to be fellowshipping with other believers. We also must 100%, and church leadership needs to be able to discern this and understand what I'm saying. We must wake up to the reality that the devil is in our church as well, and he is trying to take us out. He is trying to divide us. He is trying to get people to have division with each other inside the church. And so we have people, wolves in sheep's clothing, throughout the whole church. In every single ministry there will be wolves in sheep's clothing. And the churches that are very successful, truly successful, not the success in terms of going out and following the devil, but I'm saying successful for the Lord, are churches that have pastors and leadership that understand this concept, okay? These are the places where we can be truly safe, because if we can come to a leadership, if we can come to a pastor, if we can come to other people in the church that's being run with this understanding of wolves in sheep's clothing, they will understand us. They will believe us. Now, there's not many churches like this with leadership that understands this. There's not many, okay? And a lot of them will preach a toxic Christianity that enables the wolves to stay and to be treated with the utmost respect, because they seem like these wolves will often portray themselves as victims, as people who need help, that they're desperate, that all they need is love and they'll get on the right track, that all they need is the church, just give them money. So because they're hurting, we need to be able to discern the truly poor and destitute and needy from the wolves. And, it becomes very easy when you have the gift of discernment. And I believe that God has given all believers the gift of discernment because the Holy Spirit lives inside of us. And when the Holy Spirit in us comes in contact with a person with a demon in them, the Holy Spirit will tell you. That's discernment. The Holy Spirit will always tell us who's in front of us, what we're dealing with. The issue is that we need to be able to be in tune with our intuition, with the Holy Spirit inside of us that is guiding us and leading us. The Word says that He guides us and leads us. How does He do that? We hearken to His voice. What is His voice? Well, He can talk to us in many different ways, and one of them is an alert in our spirit. If something doesn't feel right, don't assume that you're wrong. Assume that you're right, okay? Um, yeah, I think that's the message today. Assume that you're right. Now, when I was in my narcissistically abusive marriage, I was in there for so long. And, I I used to have the gift that we all have of discernment, right? I used to be able to, because of how I was raised in neglect and abuse, that I had to rely on that in order to survive. Well, in my marriage, I noticed I was losing my discernment. And it's because to stay in an abusive relationship, we have to like disown ourselves to stay in a place that is hurting us, right? When we are in a Christian marriage and we are told by people, instead of validating ourselves, we're looking for validation from other people that our marriage is abusive, that we are able to leave our marriage, instead of just telling ourselves, wow, you know what, this isn't okay, we need to leave. We feel like we need other people's approval in the church in order to leave. And when we're not supported, and we are told we have to stay because we got married in the Lord, that's what they'll say. First off, you never marry a demon in the Lord. You didn't get married in the Lord. You got tricked, okay? Secondly, when we stay, we have to deny ourselves. We have to separate from ourselves in order to stay in this abuse. That means that we lose our discernment. It's like the discernment is still there, but since we've had to separate within ourselves to stay, we can't hear our discernment. And I remember telling my ex-husband, whenever I bring something to you and try to talk to you about it, and you tell me, you invalidate me, you come against me like you are my enemy instead of on my side, it makes me feel like I'm losing my discernment, because you're telling me my reality is something that you need to come against. And I need you to stop doing that. I need you to be on my side. And this is before I knew he was a narcissist. I was telling him how to treat me, and that he should want the best for me. And look, you're doing this thing and it's actually hurting me. I want to keep my discernment. Well, I didn't know he was a wolf. He didn't want me having discernment. He didn't want me following the Holy Spirit inside of me. The demons in him wanted my Holy Spirit gone, right? My Holy Spirit, God's Holy Spirit, it's mine. It lives inside of me. We can claim him, right? He wanted him gone. And I remember he looked at me and he was like, oh, interesting. And I was like, what the heck is that? And from that day forward, since I drew that boundary with him, this was the last few years that we were together, I walked in that reality. I walked in the reality of, no, I feel like something's up here. I feel like something's wrong in this situation. I don't feel comfortable with this, And I wouldn't be quiet. I would talk. I would say what I was feeling and what I felt that he was trying to pull over on me. There was a lot I couldn't understand because I was still in the abuse, but there was stuff that God was talking to me about, right? And the scales were coming off my eyes, and as they did, I would stand up to him, and it was important. And the more I stood up to him, the smaller I saw he got. When I would just let him walk all over me, when I would cower from him, when I would just be quiet and keep the peace, the monster inside of him, the demon inside of him would get bigger. And it would get bigger, and I would be more fearful of him. But once I started, there was just a time that happened where I was just like, enough. And I started standing up to him. I realized he's a bunch of loud noise. Actually, this is a scared little boy inside, and he shrunk, and he became smaller, and his games and his intimidation and his nonsense started becoming clearer. And so I just encourage you, if they're not a psychopath and they're not gonna actually, you don't feel like, if they're not physically abusing you, it really is a mental game. And in my experience, when I stood up, he got smaller. Did he still throw a fit? Yeah, but it didn't affect me the same, right? Because I could see him shrink. I could see, not knowing narcissism, I could still see suddenly, I got the discernment because I was starting to walk in the truth, that he was little. So I just wanted to make this video today to encourage you in your thoughts about wolves in sheep's clothing, and that they truly are the cluster B personality disordered people around us. They truly are all around us. As believers, it's to be expected, and we need to teach others this truth. We need to be able to discern these people, not only in our lives, but out and about, like at church. People who come into our lives, we need to go slow and take our time so that we can discern them. Even if other people have told you they're great, maybe they don't have the discernment. They don't know the truth yet about these realities that we've been gifted with. It's a gift from the Lord to know about these things, to be able to walk in true reality. Yes, it feels horrible. What we've been through is awful. We feel like we wish we never did, but we are the special ones, truly, that have been woken up to the truth of light and darkness, good and evil, God and the devil, right? And we need to share, and I wanted to share this with you today. So anyways, I will talk to you very soon. Please be sure to leave a comment if you'd like, and you can always reach out to me at besetfreefromabuse@gmail.com. Thanks. Talk to you soon.